This is the group meditation mentoring session. And so, what I'm going to be doing, last couple of weeks, we've been just kind of asking, we're just kind of talking, asking questions. But what I thought is to have a topic. So, today's topic is embracing inner silence in a noisy world. And so, I'll talk for a little bit. We'll do a short meditation, and then I'll just open it up for any questions you may have about your practice or anything else, in regards to meditation as well too. So I welcome you here and I'm so glad that you could join me today. So let's just take a moment to ground. We'll just take a few deep breaths because we know how 3 deep breaths can really make a big difference. So let's do that so we can center and be present. And coming back. Isn't that, can't you just feel that difference? Just stopping, taking those 3 breaths. Just embracing that stillness that's around us. It's wonderful, isn't it? So let's explore this concept today about inner silence in the world of noise that we have. So, of course, when we're talking about inner silence, it's a little bit deeper than just a lack of noise. It's finding that tranquil space in our minds. Um, we could even imagine the mind like an ocean. On the surface, there's waves and turbulence, right? But when we get to those deeper depths, it's calm, right? It's serene. And that's really what we're aiming for to reach in our meditation, right? Is that peaceful depths of our inner self. And certainly we, are all familiar of the benefits of cultivating the inner silence, right? It's not just about feeling calm, it's about connecting with who we really are beneath all the noise and the chaos of daily life. I know my day today was kind of like that. I had different things I had to do and teach a couple classes, uh, drive my daughter to work. And it's like, okay, on the way home earlier this morning, just breathing before I moved into the next 90-minute segment that I had to do. And then I had to take a break, breathe again before I came into here. So when we access this inner silence, we're gaining clarity, we're gaining focus and an enhanced awareness, right, of the present moment. We could think of it like, well, we've had fog today and everything, but think about when a window's fogged up, it's moving that fog off that window so I can see clearly, right? Just like insight meditation, Vipassana, it means to see clearly. So there's also a significant emotional aspect of this as well. So in the quiet of our minds, we find a sanctuary from the stress, from the anxiety, from the negative thoughts. And the inner peace acts as a buffer against the challenges that we face every day, helping us to respond, right, versus react to situations in our lives. And if we kind of bring in that scientific idea, standpoint, practices that promote inner silence, like meditation, of course, they show real, tangible benefits on the brain and on the body. We can, let me say this, studies have shown that meditation can lead to changes in the brain areas linked to attention and emotional regulation. Hence, us learning to respond versus reacting, right? When something occurs. It can lower our heart rate, it can reduce our blood pressure, it can decrease stress hormones, it can contribute to our overall physical health. On a spiritual level, inner silence connects us to something greater than ourselves. We're stepping beyond the material world, helping us feel a sense of unity and oneness. And certainly, many spiritual traditions around the world have long recognized the value of silence for inner growth and enlightenment. So, how do we do this? How do we cultivate this inner silence? And it lies in our practice, right? So, every time we sit in meditation, we're taking a step towards that space within us, that silent space, that stillness within us. And remembering that it's a journey, it's not a destination. Each step on this journey brings us closer to understanding and peace. So I encourage you to think about that a little bit more as we continue uh, with the session today, about the silence, embracing it, listening to it, letting it guide you into those depths of your being. Now, certainly we have challenges, right, with that inner, finding that inner silence, right? We have those challenges every day. From the time we wake up, we're bombarded with sounds, traffic, notifications, text messages, conversations, media. It's just a constant stream of noise and sounds that can make finding silence a rare luxury. And so while we can sometimes escape this external noise, but what about the noise within, right? That internal noise, the chatter, the continuing monologue in our minds, right? That endless chatter. It's really probably the most significant challenge. And our thoughts are racing from one topic to another, often without pausing at all, right? We all have that. I still do. It happens to me, and it's like just learning how to work with it. And what do? We replay past events, we worry about the future, we get caught up in the what ifs and the should haves, and this mental noise can be just as, if not more, overwhelming than our external sound, right? But we also live in this fast paced, always connected world, right? So finding time to be still, to be silent, can feel like a huge task. And hey, I'm someone that loves gadgets. I've been in IT for a long time. So I always feel connected. I mean, even my watch is connected to everything. But there are times watch comes off, even the glasses come off too. Because I can't see very well without them anyway. And it's like first thing in the morning, particularly, it's like I go out in the living room, watch is off, phone's not there, TV doesn't go on, not at all. But so many times in our society, we're conditioned to constantly consume, right? Consume. I got to scroll. I got to see if I got a text message. I got to see what the emails are. I got to achieve something. I got to do something. And that leaves little room for the quiet reflection, with our schedule so packed, and the idea of doing nothing can even, for some people, provoke anxiety, maybe guilt. But one of the most subtle challenges is our discomfort with silence itself. And when we're in silence, we're left alone with our thoughts and feelings, right? And it can be intimidating. Sometimes it's easier to fill the silence with distractions than face what's lying within, right? It's interesting. And the avoidance becomes a barrier to experiencing the profound benefits of inner silence. And I'll share a story with you. This one just, I love to share this story. Paul and I, we did a workshop about inner silence, listening within. I forget what the heck it was called right now, but it was probably about 15 years ago. And it was to a group of spiritual people. We're actually spiritual ministers, the two of us. And so we did this to a group of people, and we were in this huge room, probably about 25 people in a circle. And so there have been workshops, throughout the whole weekend. We were the first one on Sunday morning. And I took this exercise. I think I called it illuminated silence. I don't remember, but anyway. So I took, this is from Tuesdays with Morrie. I took this idea. Anybody ever read that book, Tuesdays with Morrie? Did you read it? Yeah. And so it was a thing he did with his students in his class. And that was, so this is what we did. And it's very similar to what he did. So it was time, like we were sitting right across from the clock on the wall. And when it was time, we didn't say anything for 10 minutes. And some people got the idea. And, they started just kind of close their eyes there was this one lady, she was flipping through like she would just like, the magazine pages would just go, you could just hear them, and there's a couple other people like talking and all these different things. And then at the 10-minute mark, we said, well, the workshop has already started. Some people were like, what? And the idea was exactly what I was just talking about. We avoid that inner silence. Like I said, there were a few who got it, went right into it. But those that didn't, and then I had everybody like kind of talk about this. Well, what did it feel like with those 10 minutes with us not speaking, without anything at all? And so this, when we came together as the greater group, there was just this wonderful conversation about what it felt like and how we are afraid of that inner silence and how we fill it up, with whatever it is. And this is before cell phones are like real big and smartphones. This is like way before, it might be almost 20 years ago for that matter. And yeah, it was probably about 18, 19 years ago. So, I mean, we had cell phones, but cell phones weren't like they were now, right? Where, we're constantly scrolling and all that stuff. It wasn't like that at all. And it was just really interesting, paying attention and seeing what people would do that. So how do we navigate challenges? Well, it's being aware. That's our first step, right? Being aware, recognizing so we can address them. So in the case where these folks, they recognize, oh, okay, well, I didn't get it, but I get it now. I was avoiding it. So we could start, and I know all of you have a meditation practice already, but if you're ever talking with anybody, it's even just telling them, find a few minutes, at the beginning of the day, just by observing your thoughts or taking a breath or a cup of tea, a cup of coffee. A lot of times I use that with new people is, just feel the warmth of the cup, smell it, that sort of thing. It's a journey, no matter how small the progress. We have these challenges, but the important piece is to approach them with kindness and patience, understanding that the journey to inner silence is unique for each of us. And the thing is even though we may have these challenges, it's always within reach. It's always there within us. So yeah, let's talk about some tips, and then we'll get into a short practice, and then I'll answer any questions that you may have. Starting the day, getting into that mode right off of the bat, right off the bat, like I do, like I get up, go on the couch without any electronics, do my meditation. That's before the hustle and bustle. It's still dark for me. It's still dark, that time in the morning. And except cats, I do have to feed the cats first. I will say that. You can't go without feeding cats. If anyone has any animals, cats, dogs, whatever, they want food first. So you got to do that first. So I'll change my mind on you got to do the meditation first. I wish I could just do my meditation first. But you said you take a few moments to have that quiet reflection. Sometimes I read something from the Dharma wheel and to give me some inspiration for my meditation. And you can even do deep breathing. And like I said, even, if you're having, a cup of tea or whatever, taking that, it sets a calm tone for the rest of the day. Say maybe you have an early appointment, so you really can't sit for 20 minutes or what have you. Just be with the cup if you can. And then adding different intervals during the day where you can switch off the stream of noise. It could be at your lunch break. It could be on your commute. Like I don't put the radio or anything on. I don't put any music on from my phone or anything when I'm driving. I just allow it to be silent. Sometimes I may chant while I'm doing that. And that helps me to, kind of step away. I'm away from all of the computer stuff that I do day after day, all the work that I do. So I can get away from it all and just, even if it's 4 minutes down to the studio, it gives me 4 minutes of peace, right? You can do it while you're waiting for an appointment. So instead of reaching for the phone, allow yourself to just simply be in the moment, observing your surroundings, right? We can practice that sensory awareness, right? 5 things we can see, 4 things we can touch, 3 things we can smell. No, here. Thank you. 2 things. I'm trying to get them in the right order. Two things we can smell, and then 1 thing we can taste. And maybe you have a mint or something in your purse, and do something similar to that. Or you have your water, even taking a sip there. So it's allowing yourself to just be in the moment. And maybe it's incorporating nature, taking a walk. Maybe if you have a dog, you're taking your dog for a walk, or just take a walk in the outdoors, walk in the park, sit under a tree. Just letting the natural world be your companion, helping you find that calmness as well too. Being mindful about technology can be helpful too. Like I take breaks away, during the day. It was a little more challenging today because I was kind of full with a lot of things on the schedule, but I did take those breaks to just come into that space. And that's important to disconnect. And certainly mindful activities, yoga, painting, gardening, whatever things that you enjoy to do. Taking a break from that, doing something that you enjoy. And then ending the day with silence. So it leads you into a restful night's sleep, right? It could be gentle stretching too. Could be the meditation. Just letting go the day's worries in that way. And embracing silence is a personal journey, right? Once again, talked about that before. What works for one person may not work for somebody else. So use my favorite word, experiment, to see what you resonate with personally. We want to create a balance, right? So it does feel nurturing to us in our life. So let's just take a short meditation, and then we'll talk and see what questions that you may have. So if you will, if you want to close your eyes, lower your gaze, you can do that. And we'll take a moment to just be here. So taking a deep breath in. And as you exhale, you might even want to sigh it out. Just allowing any tension in your body to melt away. Feeling the weight of your body grounding you in a chair. Grounding you, connecting you to the earth. Taking a few more deep breaths here. I encourage you to just turn your attention inward, noticing the rise and fall of your chest with each breath, feeling the air moving in and out of your lungs. And if your mind begins to wander, just gently acknowledge those thoughts are present and kindly bring your focus back to your breath. In these moments of silence, you might become more aware of sounds around you. Maybe the faint hum of the room. Maybe there's distant traffic. Maybe pets. Other sounds. And just acknowledge these sounds and then let them go, let them pass by. They're part of the experience, but they don't need to disturb the silence within you. Allow yourself to sink deeper into the experience. Imagine each breath as a wave washing over you, bringing calmness, clarity. And with each exhale, let go of any lingering thoughts or distractions. Envelops you. So we'll sit here for a few minutes. Nothing to do, nowhere to be. Just be here in this moment with your breath in the silence. As we begin to bring our attention back to the room, just take a moment to notice how you feel. And carry the sense of peace and stillness with you now as you gently open your eyes and return to the present. So thanks for sharing that silence with me. And I remembered the name of the workshop. It was Inner Illumination. I was close. Popped in my head as I was doing this with you. So I'll just open it up now. Any questions, thoughts that you may have? Yeah, I would agree with that. And I know you work at home, like I do. And I get away from where I mean, like, well, this I have to get away from this too. It's like I have the whole desk downstairs, with everything. And a lot of times I'm down there. And so I will come upstairs and go sit in the living room and I'll be there. Um, Sometimes during the day coming in here feels more like work unless I really focus on the computers are off. These two computers are off and I'm on the other side and I'm, playing a bowl or something like that. But most times I want silence at that point because either I've been working on things, I've been editing, which, I've heard enough of my voice at that point that I just want to go sit and be quiet. So, and it may just be about 5 minutes. It's just to kind of get away from it so I can recalibrate. So whatever the next thing is, like today, it's been like I had the 8:30 class and then I had to take Autumn at 10:30 and then I had the 90-minute class at 12:30 for the spiritual organization. And then I had this at 4 and then I still have a meeting with someone online at 5:30. So it's like I have to take those moments in. That's like a 2 full day for me. I don't like to put so much in one day. I like buffers, but it's great that you're aware of that you need, okay, well, now I need these frequent breaks to assist me with what's going on. And I think that's because of your practice that you have been doing all along, is that you're realizing what you need. You need, extra boosts, so to speak. Right. I think of my daughter with her, insulin. She's type 1 diabetic. And it's like, well, when you eat something, you get, well, she has a pump now, but before when she had to, inject, it you just need more injections, so to speak. You need your inner silence injection to combat the rising level, not of glucose, but of stress. Yeah, 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 really, really, really. So meditation and medication, they're very similar in name sounding. So you can think of that's your medication. Meditation is my medication. There you go. Along with any others that you may need too, as well. I'm glad you shared that. And um, it's really it's funny because I was just talking about this in the spiritual class about the intention. I feel like I've been talking about intention all week with a lot of different classes and groups. How can we be for peace if we're at war with ourselves? Right? We have to have that. If I want that intention, that's how I want to help in the world. I can't be constantly at war with myself. And so I have to bring myself into that space spiritually or, meditation wise. I don't look at anything that's going on in the world until after I've had plenty of time with myself to be grounded, because I want to approach it with groundedness. And then I'll look at the headlines and, just kind of see, is there anything that I really want to read a little bit more of? Like, where am I at today? Kind of checking my own barometer, where am I at? Maybe I need to stay away from that stuff today. Maybe I had a bad night's sleep or, pain day, whatever it may be. But coming into that space first sets the day, sets the tone of the day. And so I encourage you to do that, and I hope it may take a little bit to, because if you're used to grabbing the phone, it's okay. Remember, we do so with kindness if we make a mistake. So it doesn't stick to us, right? It doesn't infiltrate because we're grounded in who we are. And so we feel that strong foundation. And it's hard. I know if we're going through difficult times, family members, work situations, what have you, illness. I mean, that's kind of like that's when I need to really get grounded within myself, because my emotions can start to take over. It's like, well, you got all these things you got to do. And, what are people going to think about you? And, it's like I get all the ego messages about all the things why you can't like stop and take a day off or whatever, which I do. As some of you know, I do cancel classes or whatever if I need to do it for myself. But it's that practice that really helps us to be able to deal with the external world, because we've taken care of the internal world. And that's what's important. That's why we do this. So we're not absorbing every email, news headline, other people's issues that comes our way, because then that energy, right? Do we want to really absorb all that negative energy? It's all about balance. Sometimes we need to take more for ourselves, take more time for ourselves. And other times we could be there to not only take time for ourselves, but also understand what's going on with other people, with the world, etc. Yes, does it bring a lot of depths, digging the depths, perhaps of darkness even, that comes up? Well, we are interconnected. We are as his term is, and we can use that, but we have to be careful. Like, are we ready to deal with what comes up too? Like, if we're taking this on, can I deal with this? For instance, yeah. So, having trauma in my life, if I'm in a situation, I feel pretty grounded in how I've healed from a lot of the trauma that I had in my life. So I feel that if someone is going through that and they're, say somebody wants to talk to me after class or whatever, I can deal with that from a grounded place. Sometimes it brings up a little emotion, but I think it's just because I'm feeling the other person's heart and, want to just connect there. But when I was a lot younger, it would trigger me way too much. And I couldn't take that on. So in my case, I'm saying is that because of my practice, it has helped me to be able to be there, right? To just be there, I guess is all I can say. There you go. See, and it's simple as that. That's how you incorporate this in, right? Eating mindfully, right? Making a cup of tea mindfully, whatever it may be. Putting the laundry away. It is the stirring of emotions that bring action, but we can do it in a peaceful way. So we have to honor the emotions that are being stirred, that are rising to the surface. And yes, we can use them to propel us forward in the way that we are meant to be truly helpful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for being here.